Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today is going to be very interesting because today this is for the people that are architects or designers and they're finally they have finally opened their eyes and decided like, hey, I'm going to start using Claude today, whether it's for my personal life or whether it's for my company. And I want to start setting everything up with Claude and I want to know how to utilize it. So if you're in that seat, I will encourage you to watch the previous videos on Claude. But today I'm going to actually show you step by step how I'm setting up the first step of personalizing Claude for an architecture firm. So this is going to be a step-by-step guide of how I'm doing it for a client. So you can repeat the same process for your client or for your personal life. So either if it's just you or a firm, let's start right now. I don't want to waste your time. The first thing we need to, you have Claude, right? So you have created your account. You go to Claude.ai, you create your own account. You're finally going to see this screen here. Now, what I'm going to show you, it's on the pro version. The free version is going to be very similar, at least the preference setup, right? In a company, I will encourage you to at least get the pro license if you're not going to get the team's license, because team license is 5 people, whereas the pro license is for 1 person. For this specific company, the thing they're going to do is they're going to get the pro license just because it's just $17 or I think $18 a month if you do it annually. And in AI, they want to start rolling in AI, especially LLMs, into their company. But they don't want to start with a commitment of 5 licenses at the same time with the team's license. They want to just test 1. And then from there, if everything works out, then eventually roll out to teams to where they can all have a license. This is a small company, so we're going to start with only 1 pro license. If you're a company that is undecided of what LLM you want to use, I will say just choose one, right? Whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, choose one and start maybe with 1 license. Start with 1 pro license, because the thing with the pro license is like you're going to actually have all the capabilities that the AI can give you. And at the same time, it will help you to have the option to not share the data, right? If you're in the free version, you are sharing data and you don't have all the capabilities that the AI can really do for you. So I'd rather do the pro version and pay a little extra. You don't want to do it annually and actually have all the capabilities of it. So in this case, we have chosen Claude. And the first step that you have to do as a designer, an architect, or as a company that wants to integrate AI is to personalize the AI to your company or to you personally. So the first step would be if you go up here. So once you set up this Claude account, you go to your name here, DL in my case, and you will go to settings here. And then here you will have something here. So this is personalized just to me. And I just understand that I don't own an architecture firm. I'm an AI educator. So this is not going to work for your firm, but we're going to work on one for you. So here's the important here. Here's the personalization part of it. So this is going to be applied for your broad preferences. So when any chat that you're going to be working on Claude, whether it's in projects or in the just general chat box, it's going to take into account this, right? Because here is where you're kind of the first introduction to Claude. It's like you're introducing to someone right now. Like think about it like you're hiring Claude as an employee and you're just telling it a little bit about you and you're just telling a little bit of how you expect the work to be done. So this is the first preference. This is the first thing we want to set up. And I would recommend you, before we set this up, to click on here on the personal preferences. So when you click in there, you're going to see this, right? I will encourage you to read this. I mean, this is a very quick read. It's just probably going to take you 5 minutes to read it, but this is going to be the first jump start for you to know how to set up your personalizations. Really quickly, these are the main things that the personalization is going to ask. So it's going to be the profile preferences, the project instructions, and the style. So really 2 of them are important as of right now, because the project instructions that you're going to see later, these are more like dedicated to projects, whereas the profile preferences are more is more like a general preferences. As I mentioned before, the profile preferences is that overall broad of how you want the AI to behave, whereas the project instructions are more specific to a specific context or project or deliverable you want. And then you have the style, right? So let's go a little bit on it. Let's just touch base on this very quickly. So the first thing here is the project preferences, right? So think about this. These are just instructions on how to get there, but the main thing is to how you prefer your approaches or methods, common terms and concepts are used, typical scenarios and encounters, and general communication preferences. Here, I will also add that you will just kind of get a glimpse of what you are to Claude. So it kind of more tailors answers to you. So if you go back to Claude here, you're going to see that here, Claude is asking you what describes your work first, right? And in my case, I put design. You can put engineering, design, you can just set up to other, but I'll encourage you to you're an architecture firm, you can kind of go with design, but I will tell you that you will probably need to clarify it here a little bit more, right? I kind of gave it a little more like a role and reasoner process. I'm not gonna explain you how to build one of these ones in this video, but I just wanted you to kind of go and understand like what are your preferences here. Then we're gonna skip project instructions because that will be in a different video. This will be mainly when you're creating projects, which is not what we're gonna do now. Right now, what we're doing is just setting up your personalization preferences when you open Claude for the first time and you want to set these first. This is the first thing you need to set up for a company or for yourself for you to have the best outputs here. And then we're going to go to styles, and the styles is pretty much just kind of like adjust the tone. What tone do you want it to kind of be? Concise, you want just quick answers, or you want more like explanatory or learning. So a little bit about that. I will ask you can even click in here and give you suggestions. So yeah, so I would encourage you to kind of go through this and read this really quickly in order for you to kind of just get a quick overview of what it is. Okay, guys. So now, as I mentioned before, I'm gonna walk you through step by step on how I'm doing the preferences for now, and then in the next video, I'm gonna do that is coming probably in this couple week in the next week is gonna be the memory. So today we're gonna be focusing on the preferences, and next video we're gonna be focusing on the memory. So those are the first two things you should do whenever you finally got your Claude and you want to personalize it to you or your company. So let's jump in. So the first thing I like to do, just so you can get the best performance on your, let's call it preferences, is just to ask Claude, just because Claude already has all that background. So you kind of reverse engineer the question. So you can do something like this. So using Claude's guidelines, help me create the Claude preference for my company. And here's the trick here. You say, ask me one question at a time to get all the information you need until you are 95% certain that you can complete your task at a very high level, right? So I'm going to start with that using Claude's, and then just make sure to stop the video now here and copy this. I'm going to also check. You always have to check that you're making sure you're writing this. So using Claude's guidelines, help me create the Claude preference profile for my company. Ask me one question at a time to get all the, interview me. Okay, so ask me one question at a time until you get all the information you need. You need to be 95% certain that you can complete the task, you can complete the task at a very high level. So I think the principle that I want to show you here is that you don't have to come up with a preference. You can let Claude help you get the preferences. And the best thing with that is that based on the guidelines that you read and with Claude interviewing you one question at a time, it's going to help you determine what is the best preference for you. It's going to draft that first preference for you. And also what you can do as a bonus tip is if you have already a company. So I'm going to give you an example here. So if you have, your company already has a website, you can say like, here is the link to the company's website. Make sure to grab all the information, all the relevant information you need. So that's another trick, right? Like, so it will actually so it will ask you questions, but at the same time, a lot of the back information it will get could be from your company's website already. So if your company already has a website, that's a great way to start. So then you go ahead. I will recommend you, because it's going to analyze things, to always just keep it in Sonnet. I know some people might want to use a different model just because it's faster, or the Opus one. I think honestly, just the Sonnet 4.6 is going to do the job really well. So I'm going to go here and click enter, and it's going to start analyzing, first of all, the website, and it's going to start grabbing all the data, and it's going to start understanding, okay, what kind of company it is. And of course, this is going to be more useful eventually for the memory part of the section, but it's good to at least it kind of start getting context on who is it working with. So it helps you kind of get the best. So as I'm saying, the best input is going to give you the the better preference you're going to get eventually, right? So here's going to ask you some questions here. So let's see what it asked me. So who is the Claude preference profile primarily, and how is it deployed? So I'm going to say A would be for, oh no, okay. So I have to just put a letter here. So for the entire BAP team, for specific role subset team, for a system prompt. So I will say for A, right? So it will be for the whole team. And then here's the final question. Does the team want Claude to proactively flag relevant California regulations, considerations, all the things when they come up in a task, even if it's not explicitly asked? Yeah, I'm saying only when the task is specifically to code or permitting related. And just because it's not always going to be with Santa Barbara. So here it is. So now you have your prompt here. So ideally, what you want to do with this, you don't want to copy paste this into your thing. You want to read it first. Also, I believe that Claude has a 1500 character limit whenever it comes to personal preferences. So you might want to make sure that this is first relevant. Like, so for instance, if I come here, so here's copy full text above Claude profile, preferences field, add Claude settings. Okay, great. So the first thing you honestly want to do is copy this prompt. So come here, you copy this into a Word document or a Note document, and then you edit it from there. So here I was able to go and copy paste this into my note taker here. And now I want you to stop this video. I wanted you to actually go do this exercise, and then I'll meet you here in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to go and edit this. Spend 10 to 15 minutes just going through it, reading it, adding things. And then once you have that ready, then you are going to be able to copy paste this into the preferences. Okay, so I was able to review. So the only thing that it did not do that you're probably going to have to do, that you might have to run the same thing, is like, as I mentioned before, the preference have a character limit. So what I need to do, you see how at the end here, it has the condensed version optimized for character limit. So you might want to say yes to that without the Spanish, right? Like, so to me, why it's saying Spanish? Because it knows that I'm bilingual, right? So that's why it's saying Spanish, but I don't want it in Spanish. I just want it in English. And optimize version for a character limit only in English. Optimize, want to introduce, I also put a condensed version. What's happening to me today? English, is it that? All right. Okay, now we're going to do this. So now it should give me like a final version on it that is optimized to. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to take all that brief, you want to edit it, and then you want to give it to here, and then you want to say like, hey, optimize it, or you just want to optimize it first and then edit it. Probably that's the best one to go. So you see how the limit to it is just 1500 characters. So what I gave you at the beginning, it was not useful, meaning it's useful as far as getting the overall picture of it, and then maybe like reference it to where like, oh, maybe I really want to keep this, but I don't want to keep this other thing. And it might be able to give you really good preferences. But so here's a really condensed version of it. So here's where you can kind of start kind of going back and forth between the overall version and the condensed version, and then you can play with AI and tell, hey, I don't feel like this is as important. Let's take the format out and let's bring this other thing, the mission, in, right? Because I really like that you're putting the mission in there. Now, all this is the version that potentially can go in the memory, right? Because the memory, you can actually put documents. So I wouldn't get too caught in the preferences, just because the preferences is a really quick introduction to your company and their tone that you want it to kind of be. So just think about it as a very quick one, like couple sentence preferences. And then everything else really that is very important to you and relevant is going to be included in the memory section. So don't get too caught on it, but you want to make sure that it's optimized enough that it will get an overall picture of what you want as far as the tonality, as far as just understanding just the overview of what's your company, and then just getting the style as far as the responses and what you want it to do. And with that being said, that's it for today, guys. And in the next video, we'll go ahead and talk more about memories, about the memory, but this is the first setup as far as preferences go. Okay, thank you.